What's going on, everybody? Today is going to be a short tutorial on how to change the transmission fluid on a 100 series Land Cruiser. Check it out. First, a little housekeeping. Today we're doing a drain and fill. So there are three main types of transmission fluid changes you can do. The first one is a complete system flush. So you're using a pump to circulate fluid. You'll change 100% of the transmission fluid that way. The second one is dropping the pan. So then you can replace the gasket, the filter, and you can inspect the magnets at the bottom of the pan to see if they have any metal shavings on them. So helps you to do a little investigation if you might have a future problem. And then there's the drain and fill, which we're doing today. This is the fastest of the three. You get the least amount of fluid out, about 3 quarts, but that's what we're doing. Things you'll need to get the job done. First, you need 5 quarts of ATF World Standard. I have a 2006, and this is the fluid that works for my model year, so make sure you check yours. Next, we need a way to get the fluid into the transmission. I highly recommend using a pump that's made for transmission fluid transfer. I've seen some people using a hand pump or a garden sprayer, a funnel with a long hose. I highly recommend just using the right pump. It'll save you a lot of headache and cleanup. Next, we need a few sockets. So a 24 millimeter, 14 and 12, and then a 5 millimeter hex for the overflow plug. I like to use a large plastic beaker so that I can see how much fluid I'm getting out of the transmission. And then a special service tool, which is really just a paper clip, will work just fine. Or you can buy the $25 one from Toyota. All right, let's get started on the job. First, make sure you level the Land Cruiser. My driveway slopes down slightly, so I just park part of the way up the ramp and then use the level on my phone to make sure that we're perfectly flat. Next, we need to remove the nut on the gear shifting rod. This will make it easier to get to the refill plug on the transmission, and that should come right off. Once you have that, loosen the refill plug. So this is a 24 millimeter socket. You don't need to take it all the way off yet. We just want to loosen it just in case there are any problems. So you don't want to drain the fluid and then not be able to refill it. So that's why we're loosening this first. And now we're ready to drain the fluid. You can see here I'm using the large beaker, and I collected around 28 to 2900 milliliters, which is 3 quarts. So that is looking exactly where we want it. We're also going to remove the overflow plug, which is your 5 millimeter hex. And you can do that after you've let all the fluid drain out. We just want both of those to be off, and that'll make sense in a little bit. Once you have most of the fluid out, you can reinstall the drain plug with a new crush washer and torque it to 15 foot-pounds. Leave the overflow plug off, and we can start filling the transmission with new fluid. Once we see fluid coming out of the overflow plug, we'll know that we've added just a little bit too much since the truck is cold. And then when we go through the procedure at the end, we'll drain off that little bit extra, and then we know we're perfectly at spec. Since I've used my pump before, I like to add about a half quart of transmission fluid and pump that through just to make sure I'm clearing out any residual ATF from last time. And then add the rest of the fluid to the pump, prime it, then you should be ready to start adding it to the transmission. Once you're under the truck, you can screw on the adapter. Don't screw it on all the way yet. We want to leave a little space for the air pressure to escape. And now you can start adding the fluid, and you'll see it start moving through the system. And once the adapter has a full stream, then you can go ahead and tighten everything up, speed things up a little bit. Once you see fluid coming out of the overflow, now you're ready to reinstall that overflow plug. You don't need to tighten it all the way yet though. So just snug that up, and then we can move on to the warm-up procedure. To remove the extra transmission fluid, we need the transmission fluid temperature to be between 97 and 115 degrees. So how do we know that it's in that range? Fortunately, the Land Cruiser has a diagnostic mode. This is where our special service tool, that little paper clip or the Toyota one, whatever you want to use. I'm just using this little piece of wire that I had for tying up plants. It's a little bit thicker than a paper clip. What we need to do is connect pins 4 and 13 on the DLC3. I was a little intimidated to do this the first time, but this is the procedure that's in the FSM. This is the procedure that Toyota recommends for this test. Once you've connected pins 4 and 13, now you can jump in and start the car. You're just going to see all kinds of blinking lights and also a diagnostic screen that comes up on the nav. And that's how you know that you're doing everything right. Slowly cycle through the gears so the new fluid works its way through the system. Once you've done that a couple times, now you're ready to put the car in the diagnostic mode for the transmission fluid temperature. The procedure for this is going back and forth between neutral and drive, holding each for about 1.5 seconds. So you're just going to go back and forth about 6 times, and you'll know you've done it right when you see the AT temp light flash on the dashboard. It's a pretty subtle thing, and the first time I did this, I definitely thought I was doing it wrong. As soon as you see that light flash, then you'll know that the diagnostic mode has been triggered. You can put the car back in park and take out your special paperclip tool. This part also confused me the first time. Since it takes quite a while for the transmission to heat up, you kind of think that you've done something wrong because the oil and then the coolant both heat up to their normal temperature sooner than the transmission will. But be patient and give it 15 to 20 minutes for that light to come on. And once it's at its temperature, the AT temperature light is just going to turn solid. For me, it goes through a very short blinking phase. It's like some erratic blinking, and then it will just be solid. And then you know you're 97 to 115 degrees. Leave the truck running, take the overflow plug off, and let any of the extra transmission fluid run out. Once that's at a trickle, now you're ready to install the overflow plug with the new crush washer, torque it to 15 foot-pounds, and you're ready to go. If for some reason you don't see any fluid coming out, then you need to add a little bit more, which is why we left everything connected with the adapter before. After you've turned off the car, now we can remove the adapter and reinstall our fill plug, torque that to 29 foot-pounds, and then reinstall your gear shift linkage, and the torque for that is 9 pounds. And then you're ready to go. Clean everything up, congratulate yourself on a job well done, have a beer, order more stuff for your Land Cruiser. I was thinking of next time maybe doing option number 2 and dropping the pan and replacing the gasket. Let me know if you'd be interested in seeing that. I might do it anyway. All right, later.